Hello, and welcome to the crypto challenge, the 2-day crypto challenge. Man, we've been getting so much interest on this topic, and I'm proud of you guys for honestly being interested in this topic. This has been something I've been geeking out on for 4 years now, 3, 4 years now. And I talk about it here and there. I talk about it here and there, but this is one of those times we're going to really lean into this thing. For the next 2 days, we're talking about crypto, really empowering you with knowledge in this space. Whether you're a beginner, you're advanced, this is going to help you out. Today is definitely a little bit more of the beginner day, talking about the foundations, why crypto, how crypto, what about crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those things. Tomorrow, we're going a little more advanced, sharing a strategy that I've been exploring over the last few months, where you can actually make money on crypto regardless of the price. Like if you can make money on Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these coins, regardless of the price, you actually make money on the fluctuation of the coin instead of actually the price of the coin. It's crazy. We're talking about that tomorrow. Now, we have two special guests during this challenge who are both experts in the space, who both have really just cut their teeth in this space. But before I tell you who those guests are, we're going to do a little giveaway for the early birds. Okay. A little giveaway. You guys know I love giveaways, and usually Chelsea's my prize queen. She comes on here and does prizes, but I'm taking her space because she's hanging with Kai tonight. So I can be here with you guys. And let me know if you guys can hear me in the comments. Let me know if you can see me. I know there's a little bit of tech stuff always going on, but it sounds good to me. Let me just check the chat. And let's do a little bit of a giveaway. So let me know in the comments if you're here on Team Live, you want to do a giveaway. I thought it'd be really fun to give away some cryptocurrency. We've never done this before. I don't know why we haven't done this before. We always give like Amazon gift cards. Why aren't we giving away Bitcoin and Ethereum? It could be worth so much more. Man, this would be so cool. We gave away like $100 in Bitcoin and then ended up being like $3,000 someday, So why don't we give away some Ethereum, Bitcoin? It's okay if you don't have a wallet yet. We're going to show you how to get one of those inside of this challenge. So at the end of this, if you don't have that yet, you can fill out our prize winner form, and we'll drop that cryptocurrency. I'm like thinking through this. I'm gonna have to train our virtual assistant who does prize fulfillment how to send cryptocurrency. I'm gonna send her literally through this course. Okay. So I'm seeing a ton of comments. I'm gonna click on one. Whenever we do this, we kind of break this system. So I hope we don't break it. You guys are doing so awesome. I'm gonna click on one of these, and it may take a little bit to show up on the screen, but whoever's name is about to show up on the screen here is gonna be the winner of this Bitcoin. Okay. So I'm going to do $50 in Bitcoin for this first giveaway. Okay, let's see. I just clicked on one. Let's see if it shows up on the screen. Oh my gosh, I think you guys broke it. Okay, I think you broke it. But I did click on Jennifer Wilkerson. Jennifer Wilkerson, you won the Bitcoin, $50 in Bitcoin. Let me do one more. Okay, let me do one more. Let's do Ethereum. Another favorite coin of mine, Ethereum. We'll talk about what these are. If you're brand new, it's totally okay. The Ethereum is going to Patty. Patty, what's your last name? What's Patty Westberg Gilbert? Patty Westberg Gilbert. Okay, so if you win any of these, I see them popping up on the screen super late here. If you win any of these, I want to post a link where you can go claim that prize. So, Patty, Jennifer, I want you to screenshot this link, okay? Because you can go claim this prize afterwards. If you don't have a wallet where we can send this money to, think of crypto kind of like Venmo a little bit. Like you got to have like a username. Same thing with crypto. You have to have like a wallet we can send it to. So let us know your wallet address, your Bitcoin or Ethereum wallet address. Will be a good test if you've kind of learned this system. If you need help, we'll help you out. But go to the rainmakerchallenge.com/winner if you win any prizes throughout this challenge, and we'll help you out. Okay. We'll help you out. Now I'm just going to check on my Zoom friends here. I see some people in the Zoom waiting room. We're not hopping on Zoom just yet. We're going to do everything live here on Facebook first. Then we'll hop over to Zoom at the end and do Q&A. Okay. So with that, I want to hop into this training. So I want to introduce you guys our first guest. Now, I have his bio right here, so I'm going to read off this just a little bit. But Rami, I don't really need a bio for him because he is a good friend of ours. But he is also co-founder of Fortress Financial Planning. He's one of our financial advisors. They also do insurance services. They're a lending and financial services firm. They provide comprehensive alternative investment strategies and planning. He's also a leading financial advisor and educator who has helped hundreds of people retire with certainty and clarity. And he's taught thousands more on stages in person. I've seen him teach many times. He's been on our stages teaching many times. He's helped so many people in our community, just like really have peace when it comes to their finances. And that's why I keep bringing him on, because every time I bring him into the room, like people just seem to get more peaceful. They're like, wow, I feel a lot more confident and assured about my finances. But beyond that, Rami is like kind of he geeked out on crypto like me, right? He's a crypto early adopter. He's an advocate and guest speaker, helping simplify these complex topics and really narrowing them down so people can understand them. Um, he serves as a digital asset analyst to an investment committee that manages over $4 billion in assets. And he lives in Southern California with his wife, Shelly. Shout out to Shelly. She just had a birthday. And together with their partners, they recently launched Harvest Wealth Academy. I'm really excited for this, you guys. Harvest Wealth Academy, which is going to be a fully comprehensive online financial education community and course that's teaching parents how to retire in years versus decades using a proven financial framework and roadmap. Dang, so cool. Okay, hold on, you guys. Am I back? Hello? Hey, did we get hacked? Oh my gosh. Okay, is it echoing like crazy for you too, Rami? Let me just bring Rami on. You guys, I finished the bio and then like I don't know if we got hacked or something. When you talk about crypto, I feel like things get weird. So let me know
Man,
if you can hear me. Is it echoing like crazy right now, Rami?
not for me. I don't hear
Oh,
an echo.
hold on.
I did a second ago, though.
Try now.
Yep, just echoed.
Ah, so weird. Okay, I'll figure that out. What is going on? We do this all the time, you guys, but oh, I know what it is. Zoom? No, it's not Zoom. Okay, Rami,
Yep, I'm here, man.
I'm gonna refresh my page to see what happens.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, I think I fixed it. Yeah? Did I
Yeah,
fix
so
it?
far so good.
Oh, wow. Magic touch, you guys.
You
I don't
said
know
you were
what
giving away Bitcoin and the internet broke.
I think you guys broke the internet. Literally, like you commented so much on this Facebook. I'm so proud of you guys. We broke Facebook. Luckily, with these cryptocurrency things, you can't really break it. No, people try and break it, but they can't. And I just want to mention this. Rami, did we hear the whole intro? Did you hear the whole bio and everything before I cut out?
I think we did, man. It started to echo, but I
Okay.
think we got through it.
Oh my
Appreciate it.
gosh. Well, I just want to mention this before Rami starts. If anyone messages you pretending to be me or Rami or anything during the session, this is a public thing that we're doing on crypto, and it can attract, because cryptocurrency is very private, right? So it does attract really great people, but also not so great people who are trying to scam people. Okay. So if you see anyone commenting like, hey, message me on WhatsApp, or hey, like I'll send you a message, or even pretending to be me or Rami, please verify links before you click them. Please verify people before you trust them. And I just want to put that out there as we're doing this training. So protect yourself and stay secure. So with that, Rami, welcome to the 2-day crypto challenge.
Hey, man, it's great to be here. Hey, everyone, excited for this 2-day crypto challenge. Anytime we can help educate and just share like what's really happening and really what is this, it's super exciting for me, especially because of the adoption and the momentum and the trend of adoption we're seeing from the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah, it's so awesome. So today, you guys, like Rami, he's a financial advisor. He gets questions literally like 2 times a day on crypto from his clients, like all these questions over and over and over again. And it's kind of like Rainmakers. What we do in Rainmakers, we like know the questions people are going to ask before they come into our world. Like we just been doing this long enough. We just know, hey, here's the top 10 questions. And so what I had Rami do before this session was like, let's just go over the top 10 questions. Like the questions you're getting the most frequently, I want to go over those first. So, what we're going to do is kind of interview style. We're going to do a little bit of training. There's a little bit of equipping at the end. We actually have some quick wins. I have a free bonus for you guys if you're watching this. Actually, a full on membership site that I have resources and tools in there for you guys to go deeper. If you get to the end of this day, we'll unlock that for you. But what I want to do now is kind of just grill Rami a little bit, as uh, as a professional in this space, but also as someone who's really geeked out and kind of like gone down the rabbit hole of crypto. We want to just set a foundation for you guys before we go into day 2, which definitely gets a little bit more advanced. So I just have a list of questions here, and I just want to go down these questions. And then if you guys have questions, put them in the chat, but also hop on the Zoom call at the very end of this training. So at the end of this training, we'll invite everybody over to a Zoom call where you guys can hop on. We'll do some more Q&A. Does that sound good? All right. All right. All right. Maybe we'll give away a little more Bitcoin at the end. I just don't want to break Zoom or Facebook ever again, because that was a little intense. All right. So Rami, I guess we need to start with what is what is cryptocurrency? This is a kind of a trending term. It's a buzz term. But when we're saying cryptocurrency, like what are we even talking about?
Yeah, man, it's so interesting. And guys, I just want to say this kind of on the onset because the goal of today is to give you financial education, right? More so than financial advice. Like you have to use this as the framework and the context. One thing I'll tell you guys, especially in cryptocurrency, is content without context is useless because it doesn't give you the right vantage point to understand what's being thrown at you. So the goal of today is to give you some financial education, not financial advice, because I want to make sure that you guys are doing things that are smart, but you're doing so by making sure that it's the product of your own conclusion as far as the decisions go. But Stephen, you hit it on the head, man. The very first question that I think is super important, guys, is to understand what does that word mean? Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is kind of like a loaded word because you kind of have to break it down into 3 things. Now, you can go type this in, right? Like on the internet. Stephen, I know you've probably done this, and there's 15,000 different links with 15,000 different definitions. And the bottom line is cryptocurrency, guys, refers to digital currency that's backed by cryptography, which is theoretically supposed to make it impossible to counterfeit or double spend. So really what it is it's the idea of a form of a digital asset that's based on a network that's distributed across tons of computers. And it's done so in a decentralized manner or structure, which basically allows it to exist outside of central governments or central authorities. So, that's the kind of initial definition of cryptocurrency. And to really understand it, you kind of have to break it down into 3 different words: cryptography, blockchain technology, and then currency. Like, what is currency, right? And so we could get into that, Stephen, of just a simple definition of what those 3 things are, because I found that that's what's really helped people get clarity on what are we talking about.
Yeah, that's so true. Like cryptography, blockchain, and then what was the third one?
Actual currency, like
Oh,
what is
actual
currency?
currency. Like, what is currency? Like, what is money? Yeah, I
Exactly.
remember when I first got in this space, I found this video. Maybe it was later on, but it was like I love this whole explain it to a 5-year-old concept. So if you can explain something to a 5-year-old, right, then you've really gotten to the core of what it is, and it forces you to think a different way. And this video, I think, was it was this lady explaining cryptocurrency, or no, blockchain technology to a 5-year-old, a teenager, a PhD, and a blockchain expert, right? And it
Yeah.
was just hearing the different language. And it was really interesting hearing her talk to a 5-year-old. It really did simplify it for me. And it really comes down to this idea of trading, right? Trading on a technology, right? Trading on a technology. And for years, we've really done trading online, right? Trading money for goods, selling a phone on eBay. We've done this through middleman. There's been a site or a website, you go on Facebook Marketplace, you make a sale. There's always a middleman. And what I love about this technology is the combination of all of it really helps us reduce the middleman. And that reduces fees, that reduces, time. You can do things a lot faster. But if you're going to do that, you're going to cut the middleman. We need some safety features, right? And that's where the cryptography plays in. So let's talk about these 3 things. What is cryptography? What is blockchain technology? And what is currency?
No, that's exactly it. So guys, when you think about it, cryptography pretty much in a simple sense is the art of writing or solving codes. And the way it's used within the context of cryptocurrency, cryptography is really like the study of secure communication techniques. And what that does is in cryptocurrency, when you're using cryptography, it's allowing you to send and receive an encryption in a secure manner. So you're using cryptography to basically have monetary communication. Because if you think about money, money is a communication tool. It's a way that we communicate value to each other. And so we're as the world kind of moves, Stephen, as you and I know, to e-commerce and digital and things being on a digital platform, this really is starting to become, from a technological standpoint, the evolution of money. And so cryptography, simply put, it's the art of writing or solving codes. And it's the way that we can use secure communication methods to encrypt and secure sending and receiving transactions. Now, you can kind of geek out on that because you guys can make a note of this, guys. You don't have to get too crazy far into all of it right away. But there are three types of cryptography. There's symmetric, there's asymmetric, and then there's something called hash functions. Don't worry, you don't have to grab ice for your head. We're not going to cover all three of those, but just know that there are different types, but ultimately it's about securing the transaction in an encrypted way so that we're not worried about things that can be done when you don't have that secure transaction.
Wow. Yeah, that's intense. It's like you wanna know enough to be dangerous with this stuff, but not too much where it makes your brain hurt. You
Yeah.
know, and this is the fun thing with cryptocurrency. It doesn't take knowing that much to really get into this space. It's still a very young space. There's still a lot of opportunity there, but you really learn as you go. You know, it's like anything. You know, you go to a new country, you might know a few words, but if you live there for a little bit, you're going to learn a lot.
That's it, man. Absolutely.
Do you hear Kaizen crying in the background?
I do.
He must have fallen downstairs. So don't worry, people are with him. But I'm going to shut this door for a second.
That's hilarious. And so, guys, exactly like Steven said, if you're new and you're just learning about some of these things, the goal is to give you awareness. And when it comes to information, awareness is kind of the first thing. Just being aware that this information exists is a major step. Then you can take your time. And one of the things I always recommend with anything, guys, is move at the pace of your competence and comfort. But just know that this exists and then start to become aware of these different components. And then over time, like Steven said, you'll kind of give yourself the ability to have a reason to understand it more.
Yeah. It's so key. I feel like blockchain technology was one of those things that, like, you know, a lot of cryptocurrency is built on this blockchain. You'll hear this word. That was one thing I didn't really understand very well at all at the beginning. So let's go into that a little bit because even beyond just like the currency element of this thing, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these things you hear about, like blockchain technology is changing the world. Like this is craziness, and it's just like let's explain what blockchain technology is because like beyond just investing in cryptocurrency, investing in things that are going to be leveraging this blockchain technology, this truly will be the future.
Yeah, and I think it kind of reminds me of a saying that I heard from one of my mentors in the investment space. And one of the things I had learned as an investment advisor early on is he said, Rami, don't just invest in what you want, invest in the opportunity in what you want. And this is one of those spaces where you have these layers of things happening. And like blockchain technology is a layer that this is all being built upon. And what is blockchain technology? Like blockchain technology, guys, is really powerful to understand. Effectively, it's a system of recording information in a way that makes it effectively difficult or impossible to change, to hack, or to cheat the system. Because what happens in blockchain is think about a digital ledger, a digital recording of transactions that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer systems at the exact same time. And each block, and I know we'll break this down a little bit, but each block in the chain, like a chain, if you think about like a metal chain, each chain contains a number of transactions that have been recorded. And guys, every time a new transaction occurs on the blockchain, it's recorded and it has some very specific distinctions that are super powerful that we'll talk about. And I'll kind of go into, there are these properties of a distributed, it's something called a DLT, distributed ledger technology that blockchain operates on. And there are some specific things about that you're going to start to realize like, wow, that's really powerful that actually exists. And so effectively you have a digital ledger of transactions that is immediately being recorded across thousands of different computers at the same time, which does what? It makes it difficult to change that, to hack it, or to cheat the system.
Yeah, it's crazy. So someone was saying, I need a visual, right? So like
I
if you
do.
can imagine like I kind of think of it like a receipt, right? So like, imagine there's these hundreds of thousands of computers, and they all basically share this receipt, like a history of all these transactions. And when a new transaction comes onto that receipt, every computer verifies that transaction as legit, right? Like it's like everything is verified, and through cryptography, we can see that transaction happened, right? Like we know it's there, but we can't really see who made that transaction or what it was for. Okay, that's the crypto element of it. Is it's private. It's very private, but it's recorded and it's verified. So, like you said, there's no way to. What were the three things you said? Change it. There's no way to
Hack it
hack it
or to cheat the system.
or to cheat the
Another,
system.
and another visual, Stephen, that I love is imagine if we're all sitting down and we're all at a table, guys, and we're playing a card game, and you make a move, and every single one of us, the second you make that move, record it that, oh, John just made that move. Well, if you or later like, I didn't make that move, we're like, well, no, we all 500 of us saw you do it, and we all recorded it at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So you can't change that fact that you've already made that move, which makes it definitive, and it makes the game fair because you can't cheat that either. Because we all did what? We all saw it at the same time, recorded it at the same time. And that's what's so powerful about that. What that does, guys, just so you know, from the insider out, that equals the playing field between the
Yeah.
big guys and the small guys. Even if you don't understand it yet, that is technology that's leveling the playing field between Wall Street and Main Street. That's why it's so powerful when it comes to finance.
Wow. We'll go more into blockchain, but let's talk a little bit about the whole money and currency thing. So we figured out, we talked about cryptography, we talked about blockchain. These are the building blocks. Now let's talk about currency. What
Yeah.
money, currency, what's the difference? And then that's going to lead us into cryptocurrency, really the baby of all these things.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really interesting because if you ask people, one thing I'll say, guys, I'm going to give you the properties really quick, and I want you to write this down. Don't worry about getting all this again. And guys, like you're going to get this over time. But what we talked about just now with blockchain is a distributed ledger, meaning tons of different computers or tons of different people. Ledger is a way you record something. Technology, right? And it's number one, programmable. It's secure because all records are individually encrypted. It's anonymous. It's unanimous because we all saw it, just like in the card example. It's timestamped, so we know exactly when it happened, right? It's immutable. It can't be reversed, and it's distributed. So those are the properties. Now, why did I just wanted to bring that out? Because it's super important when you're talking about this conversation of money. If I was to ask someone today, what is money? They would say, well, if they're here in the US, they might say, well, it's my dollar in my pocket, right? But your dollar actually represents more appropriately currency. Money and currency were not always the exact same thing. Currency was designed to be a faster way for us to transact. Money was designed to be a store of value. So there are properties that even something actually has to have to be considered money. And if it doesn't have those properties, then universally speaking, it's not considered money. So once you understand these properties, then you know how to evaluate whether or not something's money. In the old days, right, guys, we used to like barter chickens for seashells. And it was like over time that got hard because it's like, well, how do I know that all of Steven's seashells are worth as many as one of my chicken? And so we're like, all right, well, this isn't going to work. We got to go to a different form of transaction with money. And so we went to commodities, gold and silver. We could weigh out a certain amount of gold for a certain amount of gold, and we could price things based on that. And so over time, it's developed. But just know this, guys, there is a difference between money and currency. And I'm going to give you the actual definitions of what something has to have to be considered money. And that is super important to understand to really get the cryptocurrency space and what's happening there.
Wow. That's awesome. Should we go into those definitions now?
Yeah, we totally can.
Okay, let's do that. Before we go into like kind of crypto and is it a fad? And that's my next question, but I want to hear this definition.
Yeah. So guys, money, ultimately, I'm going to give you the different things. Number one, money can be a medium of exchange, right? We can use it to exchange for goods and services. Money is also a unit of account, right? it's a way for us to account and do that. And money is here's a big one. It's a store of value. Money is supposed to be able to maintain the value that you put in it over time. And so what it actually has to have are these specific properties. And if you write this down, then you can understand, okay, is this money or is this currency or what is this? So number one, money has to be fungible. Fungible means one unit is viewed as interchangeable with another. So for instance, if Steven takes out $1 from his pocket and I take out $1 from my pocket, they're fungible. His dollar, my dollar is not worth more than his dollar. His dollar is not worth more than my dollar, so long as it's both the same, US dollar, right? So it's fungible. Money also has to be divisible, meaning I can take $1 and do what? I can turn it into 4 quarters, right? You can turn it into a bunch of pennies. And if you're in another country, the same thing, with your currency as far as pounds or whatever else, right? But it's divisible. That's number 2. It's number 3, durable. Money has to be durable, meaning it must be able to withstand being used repeatedly. It also has to be acceptable. It has to be accepted for everyone else. It can't just be accepted by a small select group of people. It has to be portable, guys, right? Like you can transfer money. Money needs to be portable so that it can be moved with ease. Last 2 things, it actually has to be uniform. All versions of the same denomination must have the same purchasing power. And last but not least, guys, for something to be considered money, Stephen, it has to be limited in supply. Limited in supply. Because scarcity maintains value. So ultimately, when money was created, those were the properties that it needed to have. But over time, as the world grew, as technology evolved, we started to say, you know what? Probably Stephen and Chelsea and Kai can't put a bag full of gold and travel as often as they do. Probably not the best idea. So they need something else. And so we kind of moved from having, those types of things to having dollars that at the time here in the US were backed by gold. So we had a currency, i.e. a US dollar, backed by money, i.e. gold, because gold had all of those properties. But then over time, we kind of moved off the gold standard, and that wasn't just here in the US. That happened around the world. But the bottom line is, number one, those are the properties of money, and money and currency can be different things. And so when you have $1 in your pocket, or you even have a check, that is a form of currency that's backed by money. Today, $1, for instance, in the US represents both money and currency because we use it as both now.
Wow. That's really important to differentiate too, because it kind of helps you identify, opportunities and also protect yourself against downfalls. Someone sent me this in the mail and I thought it was awesome. It says, "This note hereby bestows the formal title, billionaire." This is a $1 billion bill from Zimbabwe. So, have you seen these? I mean, pictures of basically when a currency gets really, what do you call this? Inflated, oversaturated, overprinted. The numbers. Whoa, this thing just falls apart. The numbers just get crazy high, and this is a $1 billion bill. That's crazy to me. And this is worth basically nothing. This is, I don't know what it's 40 cents or maybe I don't know what it's worth, but someone said they're from Zimbabwe, so you can correct us. But it's really important to have this conversation about, cryptocurrency because I think a huge problem it does solve is that, you can't just print more of it. Like that bit when you said it has to be limited in supply, we've really gotten away from that. We were on this gold standard, which was limited in supply for the most part, right? But now it's just let's just print as much money as we want, right? And I don't know. You were telling me a stat the other day about how much money we're printing right now, and it's a little bit terrifying when you hear these numbers. I'm not saying put all your money in cryptocurrency, but why don't we just hedge against that maybe a little bit, as maybe our normal dollars become a little bit less valuable.
Yeah, 100%, guys. And that was one of the main reasons. I know we'll get into what is Bitcoin. One of the things I've always said is when you understand Bitcoin, and it's not about favoritism or picking which coin do you like, which one don't you. It's for education and context. I found that when someone gets kind of that, they now have a better reference point to understand a lot of the other ecosystem and projects that are there. but it's
Yeah.
important because it kind of has this lineage of starting from this conversation. And so I think it's super powerful to go through that. But that is the difference, guys, between money having those properties and just currency.
So let's talk about like fads, okay? Because like we see in this crypto space, and I've definitely rode the bubbles sometimes, and like if you get in the wrong time, it can be a little painful. But it's kind of like anything. But I think me and you got around into cryptocurrency around the same time, 2017. There's this big run up. The price of Bitcoin went all the way up to like $20,000, a little bit higher than that, and then it really kind of came down, kind of crashed, right? And now it's up even higher than that, but people always have this question as it's at, it's kind of going up or it's on its way up or it feels like it's high. Like, is this a fad? Is this a bubble? Like, is this just going to pop and go away? What do you think?
Guys, when you look at yeah, Steve, that's a great question because, like, if you study finance and behavioral finance, like, there's a few different things that you start to really notice and realize. And effectively, a bubble is something that has kind of the greater fool theory, right? Like, the value of it is only in what the next person is willing to pay you for it, but there's really no underlying value in the actual thing itself. And so, with a bubble, what we're normally used to seeing is something that just runs up in price and then it pops. And that's a bubble, right? We have examples of that, the tulip bubble. Like, we have examples of that in history. With specifically, I'm going to start with, like, the initial cryptocurrency, just for context, like Bitcoin, right? So if you think about Bitcoin, what you've seen is, since 2009, you've seen these big booms, you've seen these run-ups, and then you've seen big pops or big drops. And we've
Mhm.
constantly seen this. Generally, you don't call something a bubble that grows, drops by 50, 60, 70%, and then grows again, and then does it again, and then grows again, and then does it again. That's just basically the marketplace trying to figure out how to price in and value something that's new, something that doesn't understand. We saw this with Amazon. We saw this with Amazon. And I can give you guys some examples to kind of go further in. But my personal opinion, guys, one thing that I like to look at is not what's the price of something. In the investment world, we always say that, Stephen, price is a liar. Price does not tell you the value of something. It just tells you the current price. And so I think that what's happening is that there is a technology that's been created that the marketplace is trying to understand and assess the value of. And the value of it kind of has been rising because of something called rate of adoption, Metcalfe's law, some very simple things that when you start to realize, wow, this is how human beings behave. You start to realize that, my personal opinion is, I don't think um, cryptocurrency is a bubble. I think technology has been birthed that's disrupting different industries. I think we're going to continue to see a trend of adoption in a lot of these projects. That doesn't mean every single one of these cryptocurrencies is going to work out. Just like, there's tons of penny stocks and companies that start and fail. But I think we're going to see over time that this thing is here to stay for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And looks like we switched places for some reason. Um, and man, it's so fun, like funny to watch sometimes the news though, because like I feel like there's a lot of we call they call it FUD in the crypto space. You ever see people say FUD? It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt, right? And people like to play kind of the game with crypto because people are so volatile with it. Like they're like, they get afraid, they sell, they buy, they sell, and you see this especially with these like meme coins or coins that just like kind of blow up and then they call this a pump and dump, right? It just like blows up and then it's just like crashes, right? And so the goal with this call too is just to like educate you guys on some of these things and help you avoid some of those. How do we like look at projects and decide where to invest, right? And I think like I think the I think what gives me a lot of confidence in investing in certain projects is, like what problems do they solve? Always looking at problems because, like, as an entrepreneur, like a lot of people in these groups, Rainmaker groups are entrepreneurial, right? And we're all problem solvers. So I'm always like looking at like which of these is solving the biggest problem. Which of these is solving the biggest problem? Because I believe, people will trade dollars for value, and even just some of these things of being private, being fast, cutting out the middleman, reducing fees. I mean, we do wire transfers to our manufacturers and to vendors. And like, you pay these big bank fees to do these wire transfers and they're slow. And a lot of times, if it's over a certain amount, I have to actually go into the bank, schedule an appointment, sit there for half an hour while they're trying to sell me some other stuff, and then do the wire transfer. It's painful. I'm like, man, I should just be paying people in like Ethereum or Bitcoin or something. Like, like it's crazy that you can take the power into your own hands and not have to go through banks and just send money. There's a lot of people that send cryptocurrency overseas, supporting family, things like that. And it's just like free, fast. And it's crazy when you start stepping into this decentralized world. So let's talk about like problems. Like, what is the problem that these cryptocurrencies really aim to solve?
Yeah, like so, and I think a great way to start with that, right? Because it's such a broad, that could be a broad question because there's so many different cryptocurrencies today. Even since like you and I getting started in this space in 2017 and feeling like we were late at the time, even for me as like a financial guy, and like I'm like, man, like gosh, this thing's been around since 2009. This whole ecosystem's been birthed, but guys, it's so crazy to see how early we are in this whole trend. Like it's incredible. But at the same time, like Steven said, like you have to understand and make sure that you're doing things with wisdom, and you're not taking action just out of fear of missing out. But you do have to look at this with the right lens. And so I think like one great way to start that is to talk about Bitcoin as kind of the initial birth of a cryptocurrency. And yeah, there are tons of other incredible projects happening that you guys are going to be able to start to learn on and figure out like, what do you resonate with? What do you believe in? But I think it's important because it happened during a time, guys, where a lot of you could probably remember 2008, right? 2009, 2008, 2009 in the US, we had a major stock market boom. The economy was booming and we were going through this major expansion phase. And then right after that, that came off of the back of a tech bust that had happened in 2001, where we had a tech boom, tech bust. We had this big run up. Everyone was like doing really well. Real estate was booming. And then in 2008, the stock market crashed. And it wasn't just the stock market. The financial market was in a meltdown. Like we had seen a 50% loss in value in the stock market in like 14 months. So imagine like losing 50% of the value of your investments in retirement in less than a year and a half, right? And so we saw some underlying reasons why that was, what was going on in the traditional financial system with loans and things that were happening there. There's a kind of a good movie that kind of categorizes that or kind of summarizes that called The Big Short. That's actually really educational, even though it's funny. But the bottom line was this. That was the start of an idea that what if we had a peer-to-peer financial system, a system that didn't have to rely on the trust of institutions that can manipulate and rig the game in their favor, where the big guy can get bailed out and the little guy gets left having to go through financial strain. And that was kind of the idea and the theory behind Bitcoin. When Bitcoin was created, guys, it's kind of like we don't know the name of the creator, the kind of like the anonymous name is Satoshi Nakamoto. It's this Satoshi Nakamoto could have been a man, woman, it could have been an organization. They chose to remain anonymous. But the idea was, when I read the white paper on why was Bitcoin created, it had to do with one paragraph that really jumped out on me. And it was the root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. Number one, we have to trust that our central bank is not going to debase the currency. Remember when we talked about limited supply and scarcity? If you constantly print more of something, right? Like if you're at a baseball game, guys, and there's 1,000 people and there's 100 water bottles, the value of those water bottles are a lot more than if there's 2,000 water bottles, right? All of a sudden, the value of that water is not as valuable, even though you need it to live. And what if there's 3,000? What if there's 4,000, right? And so what happened was Satoshi said in the white paper that, the root problem with conventional currency is the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank has to be trusted not to debase the currency. But what do we have? We have history that shows us a major, major breach of that trust over and over again. Banks have to be trusted to hold on to our money and transfer it electronically. But what do? They lend it out in waves of credit bubbles with barely any fraction of it in reserve. It's called fractional reserve lending, where a bank can lend out money that it doesn't actually have on deposit. based on a small amount that it has. And we have to trust them with our privacy. We have to trust them to not let the identity of thieves drain our accounts. And basically, the massive overhead of the traditional system makes micropayments also impossible. And so the bottom line was Satoshi said, man, we need to have a lot of trust in a system that's actually had a proven track record of breaching that very trust. And so the idea behind Bitcoin was that Bitcoin could have and be this digital store of value. It's not just the one white paper that he wrote, there's actually a lot of other articles that you see that talks about this. And so what Bitcoin was designed to do was, if we go back to money, it was designed to be a decentralized digital currency that didn't have, what does decentralized mean, guys? It means there's no central authority that controls it, right? It's using blockchain technology. So it's that all of those properties, all of that technology that allows us to have a system that is verifiable. If you actually start to break down the value and the properties of money and the values of blockchain, you start to see how uniform they are. You start to see the marriage between those two. And so that is what Bitcoin was aimed to be, was a digital store of value. We know that, Stephen, right, there's only 21 million Bitcoin that are going to be in existence ever in the world. And so even though today some people look at Bitcoin's price, if for some of you who've been following, you're like, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive now. Guys, remember what I said. Price is a liar. It doesn't tell you value. And Bitcoin is something that's divisible. You don't have to own one Bitcoin. You can own a fraction of a Bitcoin. But I want you guys to think about something. And then, Stephen, I'll kind of turn it back to you. Like, Bitcoin, the problem that it aims to solve, if you kind of believe in the theory, is it aims to be a store of value that is a hedge against the traditional monetary system and allows you to have a peer-to-peer communication tool, monetary communication tool. I was born in West Africa. I was born in Sierra Leone. So I'm not originally from the States. My wife is actually from Puerto Rico, which, is a commonwealth of the US. Even though I look more Puerto Rican than she does, is the joke. But no one ever guesses I'm from Sierra Leone. But the long story short is, sometimes in the US, we have first world lenses. We don't have third world lenses. We don't have the same issues and problems, thankfully, or in other developed places in the world that a lot of places in the world don't benefit from. And so for me to send money back home to my family, the intermediaries, the obstacles and the processes that I have to go through to get it there are not trivial for them or for us. And now with this type of technology, to have a peer-to-peer system where instead of in a matter of days, but in a matter of minutes, finances, resources can be sent to places it's needed. And what that actually means is that you can actually bring countries over time out of poverty with this type of technology without having the traditional infrastructure that you would need in banking and systems that we have here in the developed places in the world. So Bitcoin's problem that it aims to solve is to be a digital store of value, something that you can't create any more of. And if there are 7 billion people in the world, I think, Stephen, that there's like a stat that says there's 49 million millionaires. So that means there's not even enough Bitcoin for every millionaire to own one. And what I've seen, guys, is I've seen a lot of people talking about, but there's Litecoin and there's all the Ethereum and these other things. And guys, I can tell you, I don't have a crystal ball. Like, there's going to be projects that just boom. And like, we're going to be talking about things 5 years, 6 years from now that probably don't even exist today, right? Like, we're already seeing that. So what I can tell you, though, is that I remember in 2017 that financial institutions were not talking about cryptocurrency. They were not interested. 2018, markets are tanking, right? Like, everyone's like, oh my God, why did I do this? Right? 2019, we start to see a little bit more growth, but not that much. And 2020, we see this big boom again. And what I can tell you guys is, now when you look at the institutional demand, what I'm seeing behind the scenes, I'm seeing the same companies that we used to say Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies are a fad. The same companies with articles I can reference are the same ones today that, as an advisor, are sending me emails about how to help clients understand digital assets and how to determine how to allocate money in. So this space is maturing. And I can tell you that that's the use case for Bitcoin. And so what you can ask yourself is, number one, do I believe that I have that same problem, that I need a digital store of value, right? And do I believe Bitcoin is the answer for that? And then, as Stephen, as you said, and I'll turn it back to you, you can start to evaluate projects that are in the crypto world based on what's the use case? What is this thing trying to be a solution for? Do I believe this is a big problem? And do I believe this thing is going to present an opportunity to be a solution to that problem that I want to participate in?
Yeah. So good. So good. People are loving in the chat over here. If you guys see me looking over here, I'm just kind of monitoring the chat too. I've had to ban only just one person so far. So remember, if anyone messages you or trying to like get you into something, that's probably not me. Okay. um, so man, this is so good. I think, man, the whole thing about like there's only 21 million Bitcoin, that just sounds like such a crazy low number when it comes to like how many people are in the world and really adopting this thing at the rate they're adopting it. And I saw a stat that the FBI actually owns like 1.5% because they, took over a site that was using Bitcoin that was not so great. And then about 20% of the entire Bitcoin supply is estimated to be lost, just completely lost. And that's kind of the crazy part about cryptocurrency is like it puts a lot of responsibility on the owners of the cryptocurrency to actually protect it and to steward it and like not forget your password. So we're going to talk about some of those things later today because we want you to set those things up in advance if you start to step into this space so that you can protect your assets because like yeah, you could put your money in a bank and like pay a bank to do that, but you can leverage some of these cryptocurrency things with a small, don't put all your money in a cryptocurrency, but you can put a small percentage in, but you have to manage it yourself. You are responsible for your own thing. And if you do lose passwords or things like that, and you don't have like these backup systems that we're going to teach you about, you can lose your cryptocurrency. Like, it's just like gone into the internet, which is just kind of a crazy thought to think about. But as long as you set up these healthy foundations at the beginning, I'm not sharing that to scare you. But the reason I'm sharing that is because like if 20% of Bitcoin is just like gone, like the number is just like even smaller. And I truly believe like once all these Bitcoin are minted, right? Or are mined, I should say. Um, like it's just going to be wow. It's like totally limited supply, and I truly do see it um, as part like a. I saw a quote that was like you know, it was like your kids won't be like buying or it won't be mining Bitcoin. They'll be like it was some sort of quote about like, man, just think about this future with Bitcoin and like how, when this becomes more of a cryptocurrency, this whole world we're stepping into just becomes more of a our normal, like how normal it'll be to just like pull out your phone and scan a thing and send money and like it's just going to be incorporated. Right now it's still a little clunky, like you go to these websites, it's still like they're getting more user friendly than they were, but like it's still like there's a learning curve a little bit. But when it becomes where it's just like you were talking about on our podcast, like man, when you could just, add it to your 401k plan. And it's just like it's just part of like the normal kind of investing strategy. It's just a percentage of people's portfolios. And you can just click a button and invest. Or, it's just as easy as it is as easy as sending it from your phone, but like I just feel like there's going to be mass adoption in this cryptocurrency space, especially when people see the benefits and the use cases, especially. So, okay, we talked about Bitcoin, talked about problems it solved. Let's start talking about like how to get involved. Okay, so like how do we like if you're watching this right now and you're like, I have not taken a step into cryptocurrency. I know there's a lot of people who have, and we're going to go even deeper on that tomorrow because like we've been in this space and I've been playing around with some fun stuff that you're gonna be interested in. But if you're like kind of like I'm not sure, like should I dip my toe into this cryptocurrency space? How do you determine should you not? And what should we know about that process?
Yeah, guys. So let me say a couple things about that. So I'm seeing some incredible questions, and guys, that was the point for today, was to trigger a response of you guys really wanting to learn. We could literally do just a session on Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
and we could do projection. I could show you guys some charts, guys. I could show you things that like are like, wow, it's what institutional and family offices, affluent and wealthy families, look at to determine probabilities and risk reward on entries and allocations into assets. And so I look at that information, and that is actually what's exciting to me, is because that's actually my job. I have to look at this stuff as a digital asset analyst and determine, what's the risk and reward, And then what's the probability of the risk happening versus the probability of the reward based on the growing network? And so just know, I mean, maybe we'll do that over time. You guys can bug Steven and be like, hey, do a session just on this, 2 cryptocurrencies. So now
Yeah.
you guys are all going to be emailing Steven. I just did one. But
Day
so just
3.
know, yeah, day 3. But just know that, guys, that like you really can just look at one thing and like learn. But one thing, and I'll tell you guys, is that so just write all those questions down, guys, because those are great questions. I'm seeing some of them, and maybe we'll get to some of them a little bit later. But
Definitely.
one thing I say, here's kind of one of my golden rules, is know your sleep number. What do I mean by that? So I have a metric that I give my clients in one-on-ones, and it's very important because this is how you protect yourself. Okay. All investing is risk and reward. There's no such thing as risk-free. Okay. But doing nothing in anything is also risky. And so the first thing I always say is, hey, what's your risk? What's your sleep number? And when people go, what do you mean? I go, what's the number that if you invested more than that, you would lose sleep? Like if you have a number that you know, if I invested this number or more, I would start to lose sleep. Like I'd be worried if the price is going up 50, 60% or down 50, 60%. No one's going to worry if it's going up 50 or 60%. But if it's going down 50, 60, 70, 80%, I would start to lose sleep. Then I always tell clients, don't invest more than you would lose sleep over in anything, no matter how good it sounds, guys, because no one presents a bad deal on purpose. Like everything sounds good at face value. You have to make sure that you are doing things that are based on your own research, but at the same time, that you're not investing money that you can't afford to lose. That is very true. As incredible as these projects are, or the potential of what some of these things aim to do, we don't know the future. And we've seen some of these things go through regulatory uncertainty. We've seen volatility. We've seen a ton of stuff. But here we are today with way more adoption and use case from institutions and people the world over than we've ever had before, even with any of that stuff. Okay. So number one way I like to look at it, Stephen, is, all right, what's the percentage that I can safely put in here that if I lost it, I would not be disrupting my financial life. I'd still be able to make sure my mortgage is paid, my family's okay. None of that stuff, my core life is insulated from this risk. Okay. That's very important. Then, and I know, Stephen, you're going to talk about this. You have to determine, like, what projects do I want to invest in? Guys, there's 2 reasons people invest. There's only 2 reasons anyone makes an investment, effectively speaking. One is for growth. So either you're investing because you believe the future value of this asset is going to increase, or you're investing for income, where you want to own something that could produce income for you today. So either you're looking at this from a growth standpoint, future growth, or you're looking at this from an income standpoint, income today, right? So for cryptocurrency, a lot of the reasons people get into it, right, is because of future growth. They're looking for opportunities for long-term growth. So you have to have the right sleep number for your own self personally, because you know your financial situation. And here's another big one, Stephen, that I think people miss. You have to have the right time frame. Like, you have to be willing to stay in the game, guys. Yeah. It's so funny because no one wants to be in a get rich quick scheme, but everyone wants the next get rich quick opportunity. And so it's like, guys, you have to have the right time frame. Like I always tell people, hey, if you're not willing to hold, Bitcoin, specifically, or Ethereum, like some of these kind of more dominant networks today, for at least 4 to 5 years, then you probably shouldn't be investing. Because what we've seen is over that cycle, that time frame, we've seen an uptick and a growth in the asset's value. Past performance doesn't mean that's always going to be the case, but we've seen that. And so you have to have the right time frame, and you have to have the right percentage before you consider any project whatsoever. And then Steven's going to talk about, you have to do it safely so that you don't lose your password, or you don't lose your access to some of this stuff.
So good. So good. Yeah. And I'm definitely both those investors, right? I invest for growth and I also invest for income. And this has been what I've been more exploring. I feel like for the last 3-4 years, we've invested more for growth. Like, hey, let's park this money there. I will not touch it for 5 years and just see where it goes. Like, I just want to get some skin in the game. And just, once I do that, then I was more interested in it. I dove more into it. And it really honestly started with like $10, you guys. Like you can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, a fraction of Ethereum. And like I started with $10 and then I started a little more and a little more. And I just put on autopilot. So we just invest a certain amount every single day, actually, in cryptocurrency. And that's called dollar cost averaging, where you kind of just set and forget it. And I'm just like, hey, I'm just gonna put a little bit in this every single day. And it's not that much, but it adds up over time. It adds up over time. And especially because I'm buying when it's high and buying when it's low. And that's how I'm able to get the best price, because it averages out. And so don't try and time the market on these things. Don't try and predict the future. But if you do this, you want to do it right. So we're going to talk about some tools and resources to get you guys started. And then most of these are going to be focused on more of that investing for growth. Okay. Investing in things that you can probably just let sit and, just don't touch them for a little bit. But it's fun to watch. And then you can watch your app and be like, oh, it's going up, it's going down. And it's fun to ride the crypto roller coaster. But then tomorrow, we're going to talk about investing for income and actually how to make daily passive income off of cryptocurrency. This is something I've been doing for the last couple months. And we have another special guest come on tomorrow who's going to dive into that topic. So personally for me, like since we've been investing here for our season, we just had like kind of a bucket of crypto to play with. And I was like, hey, it's kind of play money anyway. It's grown. And it's like, I always think of it kind of, it's like house money, right? Like you put in, let's say you put in 2K and it grows to 4K. I'm like, I got $2,000 of extra kind of house money I could play with. And it's like, feels like free money. I know it's not, but it feels like I can risk it a little more because it was like, free money. Like if I lose it all, I'm just where I started. So I started investing in this other system where you guys are going to see tomorrow. Just putting some of my crypto to work in some of these systems. I'll actually show one of them today where you can actually earn money on your crypto. You can do things with it that actually produces income for you. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow. So let's talk a little bit about tools and resources. And then Rami, if you got a little bit more time, we'll do some Q&A after the tools and resources section.
Sure.
Okay, cool. So I'll blast through this really quick, but I actually created something for you guys last night to empower you in this area, and I'll be adding more to this over time. So let me see if I can share my screen, and I just whipped this up in Canva here. So hopefully you guys can see this. Can you guys see my screen right here? Okay, so I created a tools and resources membership site for you. So if you just pull out your phone and you go to your camera app right now and you scan this code, it'll actually give you a login to this membership site. We call this the Rainmaker portal. And I actually created like a free course where you can get access to the replays of this challenge and you can get access to any of the tools and resources that I'm mentioning inside of this challenge. So just go ahead and scan that code. This replay is going to be up on Facebook for a little bit, so you can come back if you miss it before I get to this slide. But when you scan this code, let's see if I can go to the next slide. It's going to pop up. You guys see my phone over here? I just recorded this right before the call. Let's see here. You guys see it? Okay. I don't know if it's going to work. I've never done a video in Canva before. But when you scan that code, look for a little like notification that pops up right here at the top. That's a link to our portal. That'll take to our Rainmaker portal, which looks like this, just less blurry. And if you've gone through one of our challenges before, you probably already have a login for this. So try that. If you don't, there's a little like create account button right there at the bottom that you can click right there. And that'll get you into our Rainmaker portal. And then once you're in there, you're going to see this 2-day Rainmaker crypto challenge. If you've been through any of our other challenges, you may see other stuff in there. But this 2-day Rainmaker crypto challenge, I'm unlocking for everybody. And it'll have the replays of these trainings in there. And it'll also have all these resources, which I'm about to go through. Okay, so any links I'm mentioning, things like that are in there. And there are some bonuses if you use our links. We have referral links that'll get you like free Bitcoin and things like that. Okay, so let me just power through these. But again, every single one of these is in that resources section. So if you want to go deeper on these topics, they're in the resources section. And I even have little tutorial videos on each one that I found online that will just help you if you want to do these things. Now, the first one is having a secure email. Now, this one's totally optional, but this is something I've been doing recently. And, before you go sign up for all these cryptocurrency websites, I actually created, I switched to a more secure email, but I created my own email just for this, where I'm like, hey, I just have my own email. It's not like an email used for Facebook or for any of these sites that could get hacked, right? It's just like this separate, totally separate email. And for that, I'm using Proton Mail. Proton Mail. So Proton Mail is a secure mail based in Switzerland. It's very, very secure, and it's all encrypted and it's very safe. I like how safe it is. When you click on links, it's like, are you sure you want to go to that link? Here's what that link actually looks like. And I just really like this about Proton Mail. So if you want to, you're brand new to cryptocurrency and you're setting up some of these new accounts, you might as well do this and just set up an encrypted email that you use only for cryptocurrencies stuff. Like when you log into all these sites, Coinbase, and all these things that we're about to talk about, you use your encrypted, secure, private email. Now, again, I have that QR code throughout some of these slides. If you want to scan that, that'll take you to the resource section. Again, that one's optional. You can use whatever email you want. But for me, that was just like another layer of security, is having another just separate email specifically for cryptocurrency. So once you get in there, they have a bunch of different plans. You're going to want to go for probably the free plan. You're not going to probably use this up 150 messages per day, 500 MB of storage. So just select that free plan right there. And then it asks you again, and you can just select it again right there, and you can get in for free. And this is what it looks like. Standard kind of Gmail over like kind of look. But as soon as you get there, I'm going to encourage you guys to go up to the settings. You guys see up here in the right-hand corner, go to the settings, and then go to password and recovery and turn on two-factor authentication. In this cryptocurrency space, I want you to just start getting used to this. Anytime you create an account somewhere, I want you to go turn on two-factor authentication right away. This is like where when you log in, it like texts you a little code, right? And it's just that second layer of protection where if your password did get out there, somehow you got hacked, you got phished, and you clicked the link you shouldn't have clicked, and you logged in and someone got your password, they don't have your phone, so they can't get in, okay? So turn two-factor authentication on everywhere, pretty much every site you're using for any financial thing, you should be doing this, okay? So that leads me to Lastpass, which is a password manager. Now, there's a lot of different password managers out there, but I love Lastpass because it's just easy, it's simple, and once you install it, it'll put this little, sign, I don't know, this little three dots. Anywhere you're typing in a password, this little thing will pop up. And you can click on it and it remembers your passwords. And I know you're like, hey, Steven, that doesn't sound very safe, like this application remembering all my passwords. But LastPass has done a ton of work on their security features. And the key thing is just make your LastPass super secure. Make your LastPass password like crazy long. I think the best tip on this is just make it a very long sentence, okay, that you can remember. Like I was about to say mine. Steven and Rami taught me about crypto and it was awesome! Exclamation point, 1, 2, 3, right? That would be a great password. Okay. No one is ever going to guess that super long sentence, but it's really easy for you to remember. Okay. So LastPass auto-populates your passwords. And I typically, for cryptocurrency stuff, I'm using a different password for every website. Actually, we'll sometimes just have LastPass generate a crazy password that's super long for me. And I don't even know my passwords, you guys. I don't even know them. Like LastPass remembers them. Okay. I'm so thankful for LastPass. And when you install LastPass, it'll install you can install this little Chrome extension. We talk about Chrome extensions all the time in your browser. And so like this little Chrome extension, you can click anytime and you can copy your username, password. You can even share logins with certain people. Like you can have a little family center where you share passwords with family in case of an emergency or something like that. They could recover all the crypto you're about to make. Okay. So I like LastPass a lot. And so that's how I recommend it. Again, set up a really secure password for LastPass as well as two-factor authentication. Okay. Third security measure I want you guys to put in place for your homework list if you're going to do this is get some sort of authenticator app. This is just another layer. I like it easier than the texting thing. You can do the texting thing like, hey, it'll text you. But I like authenticator apps because it's just an app that lives on your phone at all times. And when you log into one of these sites, it goes, hey, what's the code on your authenticator app? You don't have to wait for a code. It's like already there for you. Okay. And so you just click on the app. And when you're getting this set up, the authenticator, or sorry, like let's say Coinbase or wherever you're setting up two-factor authentication, they'll give you a little code like this. All you do is you go in your authenticator app and you scan this code and it'll add basically like a key into your phone. And anytime you're logging into these sites, it's like, hey, what's your code? And you'll just go look in your app and it'll be like Microsoft, or it'll be like, Coinbase, or it'll be like Nexo. And so it'll give you the codes. And there's a bunch of different authenticator apps, but I would get one from Google, Microsoft. I use this one. I just found on the App Store and it's been working great. Okay. So it's like an open source one, but it's been great. I've been using it for a few years. So that's just one way. You don't have to do this one again, but do some sort of two-factor authentication, whether it's texting or whether it's using an app like this. I know I'm going fast, you guys, but remember, all this stuff is in that course. It's in that little membership site. That's my free gift to you for going through this challenge. Okay. The next resource I want to recommend you guys is Coinbase. Okay. Coinbase, sometimes they get a bad rap because they got high fees. However, I believe it's the most user friendly, easy place to start. Okay. So if you're just getting started, I would highly recommend starting on Coinbase. And I put some tutorials on how to even set up Coinbase, as well as how to set up two-factor authentication inside of that membership area. So make sure you scan that little QR code and go to the membership area. I'll also send a link to that to you guys right after this. Okay. So if you click the link in our membership area too, you also get $10 in free Bitcoin, which is awesome if you deposit $100 or once you deposit $100. So if you use our link, you get $10. Also, I get $10. So that's pretty cool too in Bitcoin. So who knows what that could be worth someday. So you might as well get $10 free. Um, so when you go through Coinbase, same type of thing. Remember to set up two-step authentication. They actually force this now on Coinbase, like right away when you set up. Like you'll have to put in your phone number and they'll text you. The next one I want to recommend is Nexo. This is a brand new one. I don't know, Rami, if you've ever geeked around Nexo or any of these like platforms yet, but like this is a new one to me. I've only been on this one for maybe a month now. But I'm very impressed by Nexo, and they came highly recommended by our guest you're going to hear about tomorrow. And Nexo is a really cool platform where you can actually make annual interest on your crypto up to 12%, which is wild, you guys. Like that's a wild percentage. Like, I don't know how much a bank is going to pay you on your money. 0.1%, 0.01% or something like that, right? This is 12%, which is insane. Okay. Now it's cryptocurrency. So, it's a different risk level, of course. But we also have a bonus referral link for this. I think you get $10 free Bitcoin, that type of thing as well. But it's really cool. When you invest, when you hold money at Nexo. So Nexo, you can kind of think of it like a digital wallet, right? So let's say you're acquiring some Bitcoin and you just want to like hold it somewhere for a little bit, right? You could put it in Nexo and it'll actually start making a percentage on that cryptocurrency up to 12%. There's different rates depending on how much you have in there, and there's some parameters there, but it's up to 12%. Like we have some stuff making 6, we have some stuff making 8. You can see it. I've earned $631 since I put money on this platform. But the crazy part is, this is the crazy part. You can take out a crypto line of credit instantly. This is like the wild thing that to me that's coming out in some of these crypto spaces is like, let's say you're growing a business and maybe you don't have the best credit. Okay. But you do have a business and are able to, like you are making okay money, right? It may be hard and a painful process to get a loan from a bank or a line of credit. But with some of these platforms, you can get instant lines of credits where you actually are hedging or you are borrowing against your balance. Okay, and this is a crazy thing. Like within seconds, like I can go. This is like what they're saying they'll give me, right? I can go click a button right here and have this deposited to my bank account like within minutes. And I can go use this to go invest in my business, invest in real estate, invest in whatever, and then pay this thing back. And it has a 6.9 percent rate. And there's a lot of platforms out there that do this. Nexo is one of them, but it's just a really interesting thing. And the cool part is this isn't a taxable event. Okay. So like, if you were to go, like, let's say I had a lot of crypto and I wanted to invest in real estate and I like sold that crypto for cash and then I invested in real estate, that would be a taxable event, like selling my asset, right? So instead, you take a loan out from yourself, you borrow against it, and this is not a taxable event. And this is really what the ultra wealthy do is they just live off these lines of credits and loans so that they're not paying as much in taxes. So really cool tool, Nexo, to huddle some money away for a little bit and make some percentage on that. Coinbase has some features like that too. There's certain coins that'll make you money right on Coinbase, and it's really fun to see what people are doing. Okay, the last one I'm going to mention here is just one that we may be diving into tomorrow a little bit. It is a little bit more advanced. So if you don't want to jump into that today, if you're going to do one thing, I would say Coinbase is going to be the easiest, simplest, quick win. But KuCoin is another one that I really like because they have really low fees when you're buying some of these coins, as well as they have like the most coins I've ever seen. Like there's a lot of these cryptocurrencies and KuCoin has a lot of them. And so I like KuCoin a lot. I've used all of them. I've used Binance. I've used, all the different ones you can think of. But this is the one I've been using the most lately. And Yeah, you can sign up for free. It's really, really easy. Again, set up with your secure email and two-factor authentication on all these. You can sign up without investing anything. You can just create an account if you want to. But if I would say like the easiest one to do is probably going to be Coinbase. But if you want to dive into Qcoin, there's tutorials inside that resources section. Again, you can scan that QR code. Okay, and then lastly, a hardware wallet. I got to talk about this one, otherwise people hate on me. But I've been using the hardware wallet a little bit less lately. I don't know, like a hardware wallet. It looks like I think I have a photo of one. It's like this. It looks like a flash drive, basically, and you can keep your entire cryptocurrency portfolio on this little thing right here, which is awesome and also a little terrifying to me. It's like you got this little thing where everything's just living on that, and you could go completely off the grid and I mean, the crazy part about cryptocurrency, you actually keep it in your head. You don't even need one of these. If you memorized all your stuff, you could keep your cryptocurrency in your head. That just blows my mind. I do have a Trezor. I do use it for certain things. It's a nice, safe kind of backup. We have it in a fireproof safe. You know what I mean? But I don't like having everything on that little thing. So I like to spread stuff around and have some over here and have some over there and have some over here and have some over there, right? And it's just diversification. But I should mention that if you want to get really geeky, get one of these Trezors, and you can buy on Coinbase and eventually put it away on a Trezor to hold for a couple years. Okay. I bought these things the other day. Maybe we'll give one of these away if I can find one. Let's see. Are they on my desk? They used to be on my desk. Okay. This will be a fun giveaway, you guys. We will do a giveaway. I bought these things a long time ago. They were, I don't know, Ron, if you've seen these. They're disposable Bitcoin flash drives. And so you can plug them in once. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I bought like 5 of these, like 2017, I bought these. Okay. I don't know if I put money on these or not. Like I thought I remember putting like $100 on each one because I would give them away as gifts. So I gave a friend one as a wedding gift, $100 in Bitcoin on this thing back in 2017. Hopefully that's grown a lot since then. I don't remember if I put $100 on every flash drive or if I just did it on one of them, but I will find those and we'll give one away. And I won't even check to see what's on it because it's like a one-time use thing, basically. So you could plug it into your computer. We'll see how much it's worth. You just definitely have to report back to me because, like, if it's a lot, I just would love to know how generous I was. It's out of sight, out of mind at this point. So I don't think it's that much. If there's anything on there, it could be zero. But if anything, it's a cool thing. And if it's never been used, then you can load money on it and give it to someone else. That'd be fun. All right. So there's one last slide here, I think. So let me just share that, and then we'll get into some Q&A. Couple last slides. Okay, so these are your quick wins for day 1 of the crypto challenge. Okay, so unlock the replays in the Rainmaker portal. So if you want the replays of these, they are going to come down off of Facebook at some point. So go log into this Rainmaker portal. You might want to bookmark this, and all the links are in there for all the stuff I just talked about. Okay, so you can go set up accounts, go set up your 2-factor authentication. And that link, there's a QR code that'll take you there, but the link is also rainmakerchallenges.com/portal. Okay, rainmakerchallenges.com/portal. Let's see if I can put that on the screen here. And all the links are in there. And number 3, so number 1, unlock your replays. Number 2, go set up some accounts. Number 3, register for tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow's day 2 actually requires registration because we're bringing in a special guest and he's using his own Zoom account. Okay, so you guys actually have to go register for it. And so the link for that, you can actually text us the word crypto to this number on the wall, 530-298-0747. We'll send you the link. It's also at rainmakerchallenges.com/crypto. Okay. And this session tomorrow is going to be super powerful. Now, number 4, totally optional. If you want to use the links inside the portal, you'll get some free Bitcoin. Buy a small amount of Bitcoin or Ethereum on Coinbase. If you're going to do one to start, I'd probably recommend one of those 2. Throw $10 into it. I wouldn't throw a ton of money into it because the thing we're talking about tomorrow does require some money. And if you want to do it, and you want to save some money for that. Okay. But if you want to throw $10 at Bitcoin just to go through the experience, there's a full walkthrough video inside that Rainmaker portal that'll show you how to do it on Coinbase. And it's just fun to say, hey, I bought $10 of Bitcoin. It's just like you got skin in the game and you're like, man, I'm doing this thing. That $10 isn't going to become $1 million. I don't think. I don't know. But it is a step in the right direction. Okay. So rainmakerchallenges.com/portal to unlock that. Let's see I don't even remember what my other slides are. Okay. Oh, and this is tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow's main session, is with special guest Dan Hollings. Okay. I don't know if I've announced this officially yet, but Dan Hollings, I ran into this guy actually a while back, and man, this dude is so generous. He got on a call with me like when like years ago when we were early days of Amazon, just helped us out with some stuff. It was really cool. So I just been following him, and I'll tell you more about him. And he's a legend, you guys. But I'll tell you more about him tomorrow. But I'll just read this to you. If you're into crypto or thinking about investing, you must attend this one of a kind web event. This happens tomorrow, okay? Day 2 of the crypto challenge, and you have to register right here, rainmakerchallenges.com/crypto. Crypto's huge, but it's also volatile and confusing, right? Many are rushing into crypto land to make big profits, but most don't know what they're doing. And this is definitely my story. Like I kind of just went in blind to crypto, and we've made money. We've also lost money. Okay. And I really liked when I listened to a similar training you're going to guys hear tomorrow. Before I reached out to Dan, I was like, I got to bring this to our community because he has a safer path to make money on crypto. It actually isn't really based on the price of the crypto. Right, because the price is kind of a lie and it's fluctuating all the time. Okay, like we don't know what the ultimate value of this is going to be, but it's really like he has a way to get skin in the game with it, but also put it to work and actually make money on the fluctuation of the price instead of the ultimate price. Okay, so if you see Bitcoin going up and down and up and down, just know I'm making money because I'm using his method. Okay, so anytime it's going up and down, you make money, which is really fun. And it's just a different strategy that I haven't seen before, but I've dove in really deep into it over the last couple of months, really battle tested with our own money because I was like, I'm not going to bring this to our own community if I don't try it first myself. And I've been very impressed. So that's tomorrow. We're going super deep on that. And I think that's it, you guys, for the tools. Let's hop into some Q&A. So if you guys have the Zoom link, hop on the Zoom link. If you don't have the Zoom link, text crypto to that number, and I'm about to send out the Zoom link to the text message list. I'll also post it in the Facebook group. There's going to be just a brief intermission here on Facebook as me and Rami log off of here and log on to the Zoom link, and then we'll do a handful of questions. And Rami, if you got to bail out, totally okay. I'll keep going a little bit with people and answer as many questions as I can, and then we'll call it because I know we got dinners and families to get to. Awesome. All right, we'll see you over there. All right.
Bye, guys.
Right. One, two, three. All right, you guys. All right, I think we got it. We made it over to Zoom successfully. Phew. Okay, hold on. Let me bring the Zoom room over here. So awesome. Okay. Awesome. Hopefully don't break Zoom, you guys, because we got a lot of people on this call. Okay, Rami, let's see if I can find you. Rami, I'm going to make you a co-host here because this Zoom link is kind of like out on the internet. Okay, so I'm going to be moderating this room. If you guys see anything crazy, you report them in the chat here. We'll boot them out of here. And I'm also just going to say mute all just because this is an open room. This isn't just in our Rainmaker community. This is out on the internet. So I'm just going to mute all for now. And if you guys have a question, we'll do a raise hand system. Okay. So let's see here. And I just have to find Rami and then unmute him because I muted him. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, a bunch of people are coming in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sweet. Dang. Tons of people coming in right now. Oh my goodness. We're going to break Zoom. Okay. Maybe we should do a little Bitcoin giveaway again. Let's see if we can break it. If you're still watching on Facebook, we still love you. But this is a giveaway just for our Zoom friends. Okay, so let's do another $50. Oh, wait, no, I said I was going to do that that flash drive. Oh man, let's do the flash drive. Okay. So in the Zoom chat, let me know. Let's see the word, let's say, drop a comment with your favorite cryptocurrency. If you're not sure, just put Bitcoin. Okay. But if you have another favorite one, I've seen a lot of Doge coins. Someone said Buttcoin? No, Bitcoin. Okay. XRP, ETH. Okay. Nice. ADA. Nice. Cardano. Cool. Wow. There's a lot of these. They're going very fast. Okay. I'm going to scroll up. I'm going to choose one. Okay. It was Juan and Erica with the polka dot. Juan and Erica polka dot. That's a new one. Newish. Awesome. Okay. So Juan and Erica, you guys got the flash drive. So go to the rainmakerchallenge.com/winner and just put in, I won the flash drive in there. And I will find it. It's somewhere in this house, in this room. I don't know where. It's been a little bit, but I will find it and I will send it to you. So that's going to be really fun. Okay, let's do some Q&A, you guys. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your digital hand on Zoom. So that means you just go to the bottom down here somewhere, click on the reactions tab, click on the hand raise icon, and we'd love to call on you just to quick rapid fire questions. Yeah, it'll be awesome. Okay, so let me just wait for that. And
you got a bunch of hands.
Okay, I'm a little delayed. Okay, let's go to Michelle Langford first. And if you guys can, save us the backstory. Let's get through as many questions as we can. So just go like, hey, my question is, and go right into it. That'll help us get to as many people as we can. Okay, so Michelle Langford, I'm going to ask you to unmute here and come up to the stage.
Oh, thank you. I'm coming from Nashville, Tennessee. But my question is I've been kind of dabbling in this for a little bit, but I'm wondering, is it best just to invest just in Bitcoin instead of spreading it out to ETH or BNB and all these different coins? Is it better if we don't know a lot just to stay in Bitcoin?
What do you think, Rami?
Well, so what I will tell you in regards to that is that, is it Michelle?
Yes.
Michelle. So, it's one of those things where, we talked about use case and we talked about the different fact that there are different projects. I like to put everything into one of two columns, as I've seen this as a risk manager in the investment world. Is like, I like to think of, Michelle, a T-chart. And on one side, we have crypto assets. And then on the other side, we have crypto applications. And if I'm someone who is just holding for, the long term, right? Because there are three types of investors or traders. There are day traders. There are swing traders. Day traders are buying and selling on a day in the same day. Like maybe they're buying and holding for a few hours, sometimes even just minutes. Swing traders are buying and selling over the course of days or weeks or even months, and then they're exiting for hopefully a profit. And then there are buy and hold investors, people who don't have the time to day trade. They don't have the time to swing trade. So they're not able to really be attentive to look at the short-term movement of these things. And so they're just buying and holding for a longer time frame, for years, on end, kind of like you would in a retirement account. So if you're someone who is a buy and hold investor currently, or that's the current mindset you're approaching this with, at least initially, then I would say look at the currencies or cryptocurrencies that have a established network that is growing and has been seasoned. It's gone through enough of the cycles of ups and downs and years that it has a track record of, over those cycles, still being here, right? And that is kind of erring on the side of caution. I know that there's a lot of my cryptocurrency folks in here who are like, no, this coin is better and this coin is a better thing. And like, guys, I totally get it. There's so many different projects. But I would say that what we've seen so far is that Bitcoin and Ethereum, for different reasons, have had a lot of dominance and network effect. And it's Metcalfe's law. It's the growing network. It's the user base that's consistently growing. And for me, guys, my bias, and everyone has a bias. The last thing I'll say, Michelle, is, I see what the institutions are doing because I have to operate with institutions. I have to look at what's happening. And institutions are slowpokes, just naturally from a regulatory and safety kind of standpoint. So they move slower than retail in this space can. And I'm seeing a lot of institutions spending a lot of time and money to create the platform needed for a lot of capital to flow into this space. And they're interested in Bitcoin they haven't really come around to the rest of the space yet. I mean, they barely just got that. And so I think that those are so far, Bitcoin, Ethereum kind of have a more established network just because they've been around for a longer amount of time. And for what they aim to do so far, that's been effectively what's being adopted by people as far as an idea. But I know that a lot of people would tell you there's a lot of other projects that seem to have more, of an opportunity to boom. It's hard to determine, right? Unless you have the time to watch those things daily and weekly. It's hard to determine where those opportunities are going to be if you're not someone who has that kind of time to day trade inside the computer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that tells me lots of information. I appreciate that.
Definitely. I'll show you guys one resource too that's helpful in this. Like, again, like you can make this your full-time job and still not get to the end of it. But I typically, if I'm looking at a new thing and it's not a coin I've heard of, I will go to CoinGecko. So CoinGecko is a site. I'll put this in the resources section, but it's nice because you can check out like just basically it's like a leaderboard. Okay. Like who has the most people invested. And, these ones in the top 10, these are going to be your probably safer bets because they're just like these huge market caps. I would say anything in even the top 100 is like pretty awesome. 100 to 500 get a little more risky, 500 to 1,000 get a little more risky. But again, these aren't like crazy risks. It's just that, like the numbers are still crazy high, but the coins that I'm holding for the long term are going to be these ones in like the top 25. And I'm not trying to collect them all like Pokemon. Like I will pick and choose. But again, like if you take time and go through every single one of these, you can click on them. You can go read their website, you can go read their thing. Everyone sounds awesome, So like, if you try to invest in all of them, you won't invest in any of them. So like, you may just stick with a handful to start and then like, just keep your ears open. If you, see something, you've done a little bit of research on it, or it's recommended by someone that you trust and you're like, hey, I can lean into this one too. You may go for it. But I like checking that if like something's in like, it's like 5,000 on the list. I'm like, this is like a no-name project. Like, I'm not taking a big risk on it. Or if I do, I know it's not a crypto investment. It's a crypto bet, Right. So yeah, let's keep going. That was awesome. Let's hop over to Mason. Mason, let me ask you to unmute here. And we'll hop over to Mason. Are you there, Mason? Let's see. Mason just disappeared. So let's go to Gwen. Gwen, let me see if I can get you to mute.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Gwen?
I'm doing great. I have a pretty simple question. I have a friend who's made millions and millions of dollars in this. And one day he lost $2 million in one day. And he's like, I don't care. But it scares the living bejesus out of me. How can you, like when you're way up, is there a way to get money out of there quickly? And put it over into safer investment with my Morgan Stanley guy.
Definitely. And definitely kind of got to know, like, you like again, like Rami said, your sleep at night number. It's funny because you may invest a certain amount. Like this is kind of like how I invested in a certain amount in one coin one time and it did go pretty high. And it got to the point where I was like kind of staying up at night, I'm like researching it more. I'm like, is it going to drop? And I kind of realized like, the initial amount I invested in was like I felt comfortable with, but now it had actually grown to a level where I'd actually feel like if I lost that number, then I was like, that would hurt. So I pulled money out of it at that time for a little bit. And, with anything you do in cryptocurrency, I typically, and this is really hard to do in practice, I try to do it over time. Like I never try to like go invest a lot at once or like take a lot of money out at once. Cause again, it's like this, right? And if you like, it's at like the price of something, like let's say, price is like at one level, you take a bunch of money out and then it drops, you kind of like kick yourself. So if I'm making a move in cryptocurrency now, I just like schedule it out on my calendar and I'm like, let's say I'm going to invest $3,000. I'll be like, hey, invest $1,000 a week for 3 weeks or invest $1,000 a month for 3 months, depending on how much this thing fluctuates, or maybe break it out, invest $100 a day for 30 days, and you just kind of like do it slowly, in and out slowly. That's a really good strategy. That way you're not trying to time the market and you're getting the best kind of average of the price as it fluctuates. So if something does go really high and you're like, I would actually like be pretty sad if I lost this, then yeah, sure. Take some money out and put it into something that is a little more stable in pricing. That being said, the price could keep going up. It could go down. We don't know. But it's all about discipline.
Yeah.
Oh, it's easy. Yeah, it's
okay.
easy. Yeah. So if you can get it in, you can get it out.
The one thing I add to that, Gwen, is that sometimes, so I have some friends too who are professional traders, and that's kind of what they do. And fortunate for them, they saw the opportunity early in crypto, and so they've done extremely well. Some it depends again, because generally, if you're on a platform here in the U.S., like just like when you go to a bank, right? There are limits on how much you can remove at one time without having further approval and things like that. So you can check with some of these custodians or these platforms of like, hey, if I go to hit sell, how much of this quantity wise am I allowed to sell at one time? And they do that for security measures. Sometimes they restrict a certain amount on a specific 24-hour cycle, but ultimately the liquidity, meaning I can sell and buy, is there. So you can buy and sell on most of them. And I wanted to say this, guys. Stephen, I know I think I messaged you. I'm going to have to hop off here. But guys, I wanted to just add this really quick. I love your questions. I think this is fantastic. As an advisor, I can tell you there was a time that as a advisor, if you talked about cryptocurrency, you kind of like did it secretly, right? Because you're like, oh, I don't want to get fired for talking about cryptocurrency because it's not a regulated security. Now, if you don't talk about cryptocurrency, you can get fired because it's growing at a speed, guys. Let me just say this. The ecosystem of cryptocurrency is growing at a speed faster than any technology we've ever seen in recorded history. The amount of adoption happening. To put some perspective on that, the last time we saw adoption at this level was with automobiles and then the internet. And the ecosystem of cryptocurrency is growing at over twice the speed. It's incredible to see this level of adoption. Crazy. Just from an financial standpoint, financial history, like we haven't seen this before. And so what does that mean? That means capital is looking to flow in, but that means that ultimately, as the space matures, that's where you'll start to see certain projects really space themselves out and really kind of become the dominant, as we call it, the category king in their own rights, because not every cryptocurrency is competing with each other. They each look to do different things, right? So just use caution. I'm sure Stephen and I, just because, as you guys can tell, we're both nerds, fortunately, unfortunately. So we'll probably talk more about cryptocurrency in the future, guys. But hey, I love the Rainmaker community. You guys are awesome. You're constantly hungry. Stephen is a genius. I love working with him. He's a great friend. And so I wish you guys the best. Remember your sleep number. Don't do crazy things, guys. And I love it. I'll see you guys in the future.
Hey, thanks so much, Rami. We'll talk to you very soon. Thanks for being on with us and staying late. I'll hang out for a little bit longer to do some questions. But yeah, thank you again so much, Rami. Everyone give him a round of applause in the Zoom room here. So thanks, good. Guys. It's like a muted round of applause because otherwise it will break Zoom. But man, so awesome. We'll connect with you soon, Rami. Awesome. All right, I'll stick around for a couple questions, but disclaimer, I am not an expert at this. I dabble, but I'm not an expert. But the guy who we're having on tomorrow is like next level expert, like even more nerded out on this topic than I am. He's made over $3 million in this space, and he's teaching others to do the same. So why don't you save the more advanced questions for tomorrow? Because we're going to do an extended Q&A session tomorrow. And we're going to go basically as long as there's questions. So block off time tomorrow because we're going to really lean into it, and it could go long. Okay. So today I'll probably do another 10 minutes or so. Then we'll call it. Got to do dinner with the family. But again, make sure you're registered for the training tomorrow. You have to be registered to get the Zoom link. And that one's going to be, we'll stream it into Facebook if the technology works, because it's his Zoom. So he has to be like, make me a host. I have to stream it and then give him back. So if that works, it's going to stream into the group. But if not, then you got to register for it, because they'll just email you the Zoom link. And I did just confirm there will be a replay, but if you can be on live, I would be because you can ask questions, and we're gonna block a lot of time for questions. So yeah, that link again, I put it in the Zoom chat, is rainmakerchallenges.com/crypto. That'll take you right to the registration page. And then if you want to go to our portal where I'm putting all these resources, like all the websites I talked about, rainmakerchallenges.com/portal. All right. All right, let's go to Jasmine. What's up, Jasmine? Oops, I unmuted. I lowered your hand without unmuting you. Hold on. I ask you to unmute. If you lower someone's hand too early, they disappear. So, hey, how's it going, Jasmine?
Hey, Stephen. So I have two questions. Question number one is, once you invest in Bitcoin or whatever, do you have to just monitor it? Is there a way to basically set notifications to let you know? I mean, obviously you don't want it to be annoying, but just give you an idea instead of having to go into that app and go, oh, how much is it today? And just be obsessive about it.
You can definitely. I mean, like Coinbase they have a nice mobile app you can go check on there. I like this app called without getting too crazy, CoinStats. CoinStats, you can actually connect it to anywhere you have crypto. So if you have it on Coinbase and Binance, and you can have it all connected to the app and kind of see your entire portfolio. But then you can also set up like alerts. If you're like, hey, notify me if the price is below this because I want to buy some more, you know? You can set up notifications. But yeah, some of these coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, you may just set it and forget. You may just go, hey, I'm just going to buy some and sit on it for 3-4 years and just like forget about it, you know? And you may put it on like a Trezor, or Coinbase has a feature called the Vault, which actually it makes it a little bit slower to get out. You have to like request to get it out of the vault, and it takes, I think, 24 hours, but it's an even more secure kind of like place to hold it on their platform. And so if you wanted to just do that, just put a little bit in, put it in the vault and forget about it. You know, you could totally do that. So one other thing I forgot to mention with the last question is, cause she was asking like, let's say something like goes to the moon, right? And you want to get money out. There's one other strategy you can do, which you can actually, let's say the platform has a limitation of how much money you can pull out at one time, which a lot of these don't, but some of them do. You can always convert your let's say it's Ethereum, right? You invest in Ethereum, it goes up really high and you're like, hey, I want to pull some money out of this. You could actually convert Ethereum to what's called a stable coin. Okay. This is getting a little more advanced. We'll talk about this tomorrow, but there's actually these coins, they're cryptocurrency, but they actually track the dollar. Like they basically are like a dollar. Like, so like, you know, Bitcoin's like 30,000, 50,000, 20, like Ethereum's like 3,000, 2,000. These are always like a dollar. They're right around $1. So like USDC is one, someone commented. There's a bunch of other ones. USDT. There's like, what is the other one? DAI. There's like different ones, and different platforms have their own stable coin. And these ones stay stable, right? So if you're like, hey, I just want to convert this back into USD, you could go to a stable coin that would kind of preserve it, right, at that number. And then you could pull it out slowly over time. It's not going to lose value unless the dollar like loses a ton of value, which isn't going to happen overnight. So that's another thing you can do. And you could go instantly, like you have $1 million, or you could just go $1 million in USDC, and it would like hold it at that, even if the price goes down of, let's say, Dogecoin or something. And then you could pull out that money. But yeah, when you do, you know, sell that crypto back to, or I guess like, bring it out, you do have to pay taxes. Like this is stuff that is anonymous, but it's also still taxable. There's taxable events when you make a lot of money, but that's okay. We'll cross that bridge when you get there. All right. Let's do another question. Stacy Bellia. Let me ask you to unmute there, and we will see if you can talk here. Ready, set.
There. How are ya?
Awesome. There it goes. How's it going?
Good. So I have been dabbling a little bit, but I did it on Robinhood. You have not mentioned Robinhood. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Robinhood. I mean, they've kind of gotten like, you know, they gotten in the news a little bit this year. They had some fun stuff. I think technically on Robinhood, and someone correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think technically when you buy cryptocurrency on Robinhood at this moment of recording, you don't technically like hold the keys to that cryptocurrency. It's kind of like they're a custodian. They kind of like, it's like you own it, but you don't like, so I don't know. I trust it, but I think if you're going to invest more, I would probably move it off of Robinhood. But I think at this moment, there's not a way to move it off of Robinhood. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. So I bought Dogecoin, like when Dogecoin was like, in March, just for fun. It was like, this isn't a coin I'm going to hold forever, but I just was like, this is hilarious. So I bought a little Dogecoin and I did it on Robinhood because Robinhood at the time was like the easiest place to buy it. That was just like, I didn't have to go do a million other things on these other exchanges. And with that, you can't exchange it off of Robinhood. It's like kind of like stuck there. And so, yeah, people are saying I'm correct in the chat. So, if you're going to do Robinhood, like if you're really comfortable with that app, sure, that's totally fine. But eventually you probably want to like sell it and then buy it somewhere else. Just so you can move it around more. Cause like the benefits of crypto is like you can send it, you can transfer it, you can pay for things, you can, you know, flip it around, exchange it, do all these fun things. And with Robinhood, you can't do that as much. It's kind of just like buy, sell within the app. So, and there's arguments against like, it's not secure because you don't really hold the keys to it. Like, it's like they hold the keys and they're just kind of like renting it to you, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of confusing to explain. I'm not an expert on it, but yeah, I would say like little amounts in Robinhood, probably okay. If you're going to grow a portfolio, you may do it on another platform that you have more access to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. All right. Graham Forward, please. I've seen some of your advanced questions in the comments. So I feel like you're going to stump me here, but I'm going to ask you to unmute. What's up, man? I like your background. Hey, this is awesome.
Thank you. Yes. Space is great this time of year. Yeah, I just have some questions. I noticed you mentioned I forget the name of it actually, but the way you can leverage your crypto to earn interest for you.
Yeah.
I was looking into like BlockFi and Celsius. Is there a reason you recommended the one you did over those?
You know, I looked into it a little bit. Again, I didn't spend hours and hours doing research, but I went off the recommendation of Dan, who you're going to hear from tomorrow, because he compared them all, but they're all very competitive. So actually, like if you have time to geek out on this, you honestly might just move money around like more often, because like a lot of these platforms, basically it's kind of like this, like it's such a new space that people are just trying to grab real estate. It's like grab people's like, hey, who can get the most? It's like, who's going to be the next Wells Fargo? Who's going to be the next Chase? And one of these platforms will rise up as a leader probably. And so they're doing these crazy incentives, like where it's like, hey, move your money here, we'll give you 12%. Hey, move your money here, we'll do 13%. Hey, and it's just like everyone's one-upping each other. So if you like follow this space, you could just find like who's got the deal this month, move your money there for a little bit, make some money off it. And then like, oh, someone else has a deal, move it over. I'm kind of like, I'm going to set it and forget it for a little bit there. A lot of times how these platforms work and how they kind of get you to stay there is like Nexo, you can make 12% on your money if you hold 10% of your portfolio over there in Nexo coin, right? So you have to buy their coin. Like I think default you get 7%, which is still really great. I mean, that's like beating the stock market sometimes, right? But if you want like 10%, 12%, you have to hold a little bit of Nexo coin in your portfolio. And that's how they kind of fund this whole thing and like how they get people to stay there. Cause like, oh, I got all this Nexo now, you know? So, but yeah, there's BlockFi, Celsius, another one. Man, there's another, is Gemini doing this right now? I feel like Gemini is doing some specials right now too, but there's a lot of these out there. So definitely compare them, but I would definitely go for some of the bigger ones that have been, you know, vetted and they've been around for a couple of years. And I like Nexo. They have some partnerships in like the security space that makes me feel better about it. Cause it's like, sometimes you don't know what to trust in cryptocurrency. So I kind of went off of that as well as the recommendation of Dan from tomorrow you're going to hear, but I think a lot of them are pretty comparable right now.
And so you're getting an interest rate in addition to getting any gains that the crypto makes.
Yeah. You still get the gains if things go up, and you still get the losses if they go down. You can do some other cool stuff on that platform. Nexo, you can stake your Bitcoin, where it's like, hey, I don't plan to use this Bitcoin for the next month. You can stake it and get a higher rate. So you basically like you put it in a little jail and this is what banks do, right? But they don't give us a cut of that. So banks will take your money and use it and make money. But they pay us maybe 1% or something, like lower than 1% interest on savings accounts. But with these platforms, because they're like, hey, power to the people, there's no, I mean, I heard a comparison and it was just like, imagine some of these platforms. It's like, you know, like imagine how many employees Wells Fargo has. It's like 500,000 like all over. Like, it's like, they can't be giving away these crazy fees, or they can't be giving away crazy interest because they got all these mouths to feed, you know, they got to charge a $30 transaction fee to the wire and like all these things that add up. While these platforms, they don't, because it's all built on the blockchain. So they're able to pass that saving back to us. So yeah, you can do stuff that banks do, like staking your money, getting loans, all that stuff with very minimal fees and crazy speed. So I did that recently just to try it. I was like, hey, I'll put some Bitcoin in, I'll stake it for a month. And like, you know, I can't touch it, which is nice. I plan to hold it anyway. And I make an additional 2% on it just for staking it.
So that's like having a CD, right?
Yeah. It's like kind of like the crypto version of a CD. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Crazy.
I have another question, but I'll let you guys get through the rest of the list.
Okay, we'll keep going. Come on tomorrow. There'll be lots of time for Q&A too. And Dan is he's just fun to talk to because he's just really geeked out on this stuff. Tatiana, let's hop over to you. Let me ask you to unmute here. And Tatiana, can you hear us all right? Let's see. I saw you for a second and then it disappeared. Where'd you go, Tatiana? I lost you. Oh, okay. There's a little mute button in the bottom left-hand corner. See if you can unmute it. It might pop up on your screen. If not, you could drop your question in the chat. Okay, while she's working on that, let's hop over to Vicky. Tatiana, if you get it unmuted, just yell at me. Vicky Syverson.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Vicky?
Hey, I'll do this quick. First of all, I just want to know, right now we have Uphold, where we bought some XRP and I think a few other things in it, but we haven't done anything because XRP is just not doing anything yet. But also, is it possible to switch it over to Coinbase?
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah, no, you can transfer things over back and forth between different things really easily. You know, if you like that platform, I'm not like, hey, you got to switch to Coinbase. The reason I recommend Coinbase today is because it was a little bit more on the beginner training and it's like really easy. And so, that's why I recommend as like a first place. But like, if you're happy with Uphold and you like their stuff, then you can totally keep it there. And yeah, XRP is a great one. And, I think, you know, I would just hold on to it. I would just, wherever you put it, I would just hold it for a season and see where it goes.
Yeah. And also, like some things doesn't seem to be available on every platform. Like I hear somebody say about this coin, but I can't find it on Uphold. Is Coinbase one of those that's like, if anything's out there, it's going to be there? Or?
That's the thing. Yeah. Coinbase definitely has like more, I would say, mainstream coins. Some of these like alt projects that are like just on the rise, they may not be on Coinbase yet. Like someone like Dogecoin was kind of doing its thing. It wasn't on Coinbase, you know? So that's where I went somewhere else to get it. And so if I find a project like that where you got to go somewhere else, that's where like KuCoin, that one I recommended, they have a ton of like these altcoins. Again, like I feel like there's like a fine line between investing and gambling in some of these altcoins. And I definitely like in 2017, when I first started getting into crypto, I was like buying up all these altcoins, like I'll do $10 here, $10 there. And it was like, kind of felt like I was gambling, honestly. Cause I was like just waiting for one to hit the moon shot and make $1 million or whatever. Right. But, I wouldn't recommend going down that route. Just know yourself. Don't try and get all the coins. I would just, you know, start with the ones that, you know, are a little more proven. They've been through a couple cycles. They've shown that they rebound and like, they're not just these kind of marketing pump and dump projects. So, but yeah, like sometimes I do go to a different exchange because they have a certain coin first. And yeah, sometimes it's nice to get into those coins before they come to Coinbase because Coinbase is going to be more the mainstream platform. So when a coin comes to Coinbase, it typically has a little bit of a bump in price. But again, then you start getting into like, okay, I got stuff over here and over here and over here, and you got to remember all that. So get a notebook or a journal or something, you know, and just write down where things are. That way you kind of can remember, like, cause once you start getting too many, then it's like, you forget. I forgot about some stuff the other day and I logged it back in. I was like, wow, there's $8,000 in there. I totally forgot about. I was like, that's crazy, you know? So, and I moved it out of there cause I was like, I don't want to forget about that again. I want to go use that. So, yeah, it's, yeah. Does that help?
Yeah. And just one more question. Have you heard of Daisy?
I haven't heard of Daisy. Is it a coin or is it a platform?
They have a coin, but they also, it's like a platform, multi-level marketing type of program, but they also have a coin. So that's okay. If you haven't heard of it, then. Yeah,
no, I haven't heard of it, but it looks like rank NA. I don't know if I'm looking at the right one. But, you know, see, typically when someone's like, hey, have you heard of this, right? I'll go to CoinGecko and I'll put it in there, right? So Daisy protocol, I'm guessing it's this one. So it has like rank NA. So that's kind of like a red flag for me. I'm like, okay, there's no rank on it. So it must be really, really low on the ranking. So it's either, I mean, it's very early. There's $300,000 in it right now.
Yeah.
Total supply 60,000. So it's like, I mean, did it just come out like today or something?
No, it came out like in August, but.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, I would be careful with some of these. Again, like, yeah, maybe it's the next thing, but again, it's a crypto bet, not a crypto investment. So if you're going to put money in here, don't do anything that is like something you'd burn in the backyard. And again, if I'm betting on stuff, I'm looking for stuff usually that's under 1,000 in the rank. So you can see 1, 2, 3, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, you know, I'll go up to 1,000, you know, and if it's over 1,000, I know like it's just a total like moonshot, kind of like, I don't think this is going anywhere. But I'm just, you know, if I really feel, maybe I'd throw $10 in, you know, but I wouldn't throw $1,000 into something that isn't even ranked yet. So yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Good stuff. All right. It looks like we got one more hand, so let's do that and then I'll wrap it up. So Kimberly, let's see here. Kimberly Velez. Let me see. Unmute.
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Kimberly?
I'm doing good. I just had a question about I have Coinbase. I've already have mine set up. I've actually been trying to learn how to bid. Just wanted to know if that's in the future for us, where we get together and we bid. And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So like bidding on the coins, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Or
you know, like buy
like
or
trading?
sell with
Okay.
Bitcoin, or maybe because you also mentioned that you like to buy under 1,000.
Oh, got it. Yeah, I think like you mean like trading the coin.
Yeah, trading.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I guess it's kind of like bidding because you could set a price. Like you can set like a buy order, like where it's like, hey, buy if it goes to this price or sell if it goes to this price. Tomorrow we're gonna talk a lot about that because that's what we're talking about tomorrow is really, you know, a lot of crypto investing I've done in the past has been long term where I'm just like, hey, buy a little bit, set and forget it. You know, in Coinbase you can do recurring investments, which is cool. So for coins that you're like, man, this isn't going away. I feel like this is gonna be around for a long time. Then sometimes I'll just set up an automatic, hey, even if it's $1 a day, $10 a day. I probably wouldn't do $1 because there's probably fees, but like $10 a day, $10 a week, you know, whatever that number is, just set it and forget it. You can do that on Coinbase. That's what I like about that. But then for income, for producing income from the cryptocurrency, like that's like when we talk about these, like you'll hear Dan talk about this. There's a thing called a HODL coin, HODL. It's kind of a crypto term. And HODL coins are those coins you're just going to you're going to hold on forever. Like you're going to I'm just going to invest in this and never give it up like for a while, like at least 3-5 years. Right. And then there's like these like trading coins. There might be these projects that are up and down. And those are what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, where you can just like make a quick buck off of them. You might not be in them for longer than a month, 2 months, 3 months. But you can kind of leverage the price fluctuations, make some money, and then maybe put it into a HODL coin or maybe put it into your bank account, you know? So that's what I'm doing right now is like, I have a portion that's just like, I don't touch it. It's like a percentage that's HODL coins. And then I have a percentage that's like play money. And it's kind of like, let's do some trading with this and let's see if we can make some money. And then when I make some money, I either take it out or I put it into the HODL coins and just be like, hey, cool, more toward that pot. So yeah, tomorrow's all about that. He's going to show the method I've been using, and it's really fun to hear how he talks about it because he thinks differently, which is cool.
Great. Thank you so much for answering my question and appreciate your time.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Maybe one more question. Okay. And then we'll end it. Michelle, let's come back to you. Last one, and then we will call it a wrap for tomorrow. So make sure you guys register rainmakerchallenges.com/crypto. That'll get you registered for the training tomorrow. You can also text this number on the wall, 530-298-0747. Text the word crypto, and I'll be sending out the replays and things like that to that text message list. All right, so Michelle, what's up?
Thank you for taking me. I have been contacted by these groups. It's called, one of us Forsage.io. Is that something that I could search on this CoinGecko? I can't say that word very well. Sorry.
Yeah. So they reached out to you? They contacted you?
Well, I met a gentleman that when I was traveling and he's got involved with it, and it's called Forsage. And so I was just trying to, and I have kind of dabbled in it, but I'm getting a little, I don't know what to think about it.
Yeah. Usually when someone's reaching out to me and I'm like, hey, invest in this thing, it's sometimes I'm a little red flag. So if anyone's messaging you on Facebook or someone you don't know, don't trust that stuff. If it's a personal connection, someone you know, then I may look into it. But again, like you want to really like be safe with this stuff, you know, and don't get into anything that is looking shady. I don't know. I'm looking at like just Google right now, and it's like the top results are like pyramid scheme, smart contract pyramid scheme. It's like all these, and you know, I don't always trust the news, you know, because sometimes, you know, there's just like people pay for these articles to be written, but I don't know. I would definitely have caution with some projects that are a little bit less known when you're first getting started. Maybe like start with some of these projects that are just been around for a while, a little more trusted. And then once you build some confidence in the space, maybe you make some money, then you take some of that money as like play money and go, okay, well, now let's throw some towards this risky thing, you know, and see where it goes. So yeah, I from first glance, I'm going to go, I'm not sure, but I would need to do research on it. So I can't give you a for sure yes or no.
Okay, thank you.
For sure. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Day 1 of the crypto challenge. We got day 2 coming tomorrow. Make sure you register. Rainmakerchallenges.com/crypto. You can also text the word crypto to this. You can also go to the rainmakerchallenges.com/portal to get that course. I'm going to pull it up really quick so you guys can see it. Let me just pull it up right here. Desktop 2. Okay, when you log into that Rainmaker Crypto Challenge course, you're going to get day 1 right here, where I'll put the replay for this right here once it's uploaded. And then you can see the links right here to everything: LastPass, Proton Mail, Coinbase, Nexo. Again, some of these links are referral links, and they'll say it like you get $10 free Bitcoin, $10 free Bitcoin with Coinbase, I think, as well. When you invest your first $100. And I just put some resources that I found online. Again, like I just watched through these really quick, and I was like, I just need to find stuff that's easy for people. I didn't create all these videos, but I curated them for you guys in this free resource. And then also, I asked Rami about this right beforehand, but he has a financial advising company, and I did put a bonus in here. If you want to get a free financial consultation with his team, I put that in this bonus section down here. So if you need help with any of these services, you can get like a free 15-minute consultation with someone on his team and just talk about your finances. They're probably not going to talk about crypto that much, but it's more like, let's plan for the long term. Let's, you know, look at what you have and see what we can leverage and that type of thing. So I've been really impressed with their team. So I threw that in there as a bonus for you guys. And day 2 is coming tomorrow. The link to register is also right at the bottom here. Register for Friday's training in that portal link. So with that, thanks so much. Have fun tonight playing around in the crypto space. No one gets scammed. Set up your 2-factor authentication. Don't forget your passwords. Take notes. Go take action on this. And we'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Zoom. You got to register for that. If you're in the Facebook group, we will try and stream it into our private Rainmaker Facebook group. However, I can't guarantee it. So definitely make sure you're registered so you get access to that Zoom link. All right. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye.